foolish mortals. I'm Mike Manal from the Nerds of Color, and I'm here with director Justin Simien of the new movie Haunted Mansion. Justin, how you doing today?
Great, man. Love your backdrop. Love the name of your site too. That's great.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We love it. We definitely, our goal really is to shed light on the underrepresented in this industry. And Justin, I had the pleasure of seeing you at the premiere this past Saturday at
Oh, cool.
Disneyland. And you told a really wonderful story about how you're both a nerd of color, both as a proud black man, but also a proud gay man too.
Yeah.
And for us, that means everything to see you as someone of both communities really doing such a big blockbuster movie like this, and then potentially Lando Calrissian, but we'll save that for a later date. It fills our hearts with so much happiness to see there. I gotta ask, did any of that kind of find its way into the film, particularly with Travis's character and him getting bullied on and
Oh,
maybe being judged by being different,
yeah. I mean, of course. Like I don't know. I don't know how to make a movie that I don't feel deeply in my bones. Good, bad, and different. If people, I don't. It always is personal for me, or else I'm just. I don't know. I'm too introverted, and I enjoy sleeping too much to sort of get it up for anything else. And I was extremely connected to both Lakeith's character and to Chase Dillon's character, the little boy Travis. That little boy is my inner child. A kid who grows up very different than the other kids around him, kind of obsessive, kind of specific in his interests, and not everybody gets him, and he doesn't really get why. He's too young to understand why. And then this other guy, Lakeith plays, who is, a little dry, a little sarcastic, a little jaded, and it's all there to kind of protect his more vulnerable feelings. And I just thought there was something really, really radical about telling that story, specifically casting black leads and having, a big tentpole whirling crazy movie all hinge upon this black man's ability to feel his feelings and to be the father figure to someone that really needs it. Those things felt kind of radical and to me, and I felt like I could do all the other things. Like we could check those other things. We can make some great set pieces, and we can really nerd out with all the details in the ride, and we can bring New Orleans alive and all this stuff. But also we could do it around a story that I don't really see anywhere else.
There's a lot of great heart to this movie with a lot of characters that feel real. And I think when you're talking about these, when you're creating these real characters with the backdrop of a movie that's based on something as iconic as the Haunted Mansion, everybody wins.
Yeah.
We have fun, but we also relate to these characters brilliantly. So well done for that, sir.
Thank
I gotta say, one of the things I did relate to as a nerd of color, Travis's action figures looked really familiar. They looked like X-Men figures from the 1992 Toy Biz line. Did you have
Did
any
they?
input in any of
I
those?
mean, are you kidding me? Of course. I mean, that is the most autobiographical thing I probably ever put on film. This is how I became a filmmaker. I didn't have a camera. I didn't have any of that stuff. And what I would do is when I had the house to myself, when my mom went to work or when I was a latchkey kid, I would put on soundtracks. Like I'd put on the Jurassic Park soundtrack or whatever on a cassette player, and I'd close one eye so I could control the depth of field, and I'd make scenes with my action figures. I mean, it's literally like how I developed my visual sense as a filmmaker. And of course, when the question came, like, well, what should the action figures be? I'm like, well, we're already at Disney. Let's have him play with the exact action figures I'd be playing with, which are the X-Men. I mean, the X-Men are like,
Yeah.
come on, like that's mana for a nerd of color. Are you kidding me? These are people whose differences make them super. Come on, like I could go on and on about it. So yeah, it was a no-brainer, man. I was like, we got to have Storm, we got to have Beast, we got to have,
Yeah.
we got to have all those guys in there.
Oh my God. I was like totally that permanent Leonardo DiCaprio meme when he's pointing at the screen. I'm like, oh my God, it's my Storm figure. I have that. Oh, we got to get together with our action figure sometime,
Oh,
Justin, and
anytime,
have a
man.
play
Anytime you
date.
want a battle royale, I'm here, man.
Um, We've been, I mean, it's been such a long journey trying to get Haunted Mansion back on the screens. I think things dated back all the way to, Guillermo del Toro even potentially touching the project, and now it's evolved into something quite beautiful that you and Kate Diepold put together as well. And I gotta ask, did any of the elements between the del Toro era to now, did that end up materializing into the movie screen and in the story that you guys created ultimately?
If it has, it wasn't intentional. They those, if it felt to me stepping into this process which has been going on for a while, that this was a very different film from the one that Guillermo made. And I didn't think it was, necessarily helpful to try and investigate whatever that process was and whatever road they went down, especially because if it ever happens, I want to be able to see it and be surprised by it, because Guillermo is just one of those filmmakers that I just absolutely idolize. So by the time it got to me, it had already gone through quite a bit of this, and I just sort of clinged on to the things that I recognized and that I identified with and that I felt like I could add to. But as far as I know, they're wildly different takes on the material. And Disney, they take their IP very seriously, and they keep the development of it pretty close to the chest. So I'm not quite sure, yeah. But I'll say this, as a filmmaker, Guillermo del Toro is certainly one that is on my mind, making a movie like this. His love of practical effects and sort of melding, fantasy and horror elements to, cultural, authentically cultural ideas and visual languages and places. That stuff is just has left an amazing impact on me as a filmmaker. So, there's that.
No, knowing that del Toro is a huge fan of the Haunted Mansion, when he sees your movie, he's going to flip, because you guys just did it proud. You did the Hatbox Ghost proud, everything. I mean, I love it. And the Easter eggs that you have from all the 999 ghosts all over the ride are brilliant. Did you have a particular favorite Easter egg or ghost from the ride that you got to bring to life here? Was there anything that stuck out?
My favorite is the Mariner ghost. I don't fully know why, although therapy is helping me figure it out. But I there's something about his face in the painting, in the original painting that hangs in the ride, that grizzled, seen it all, terrified but yet gonna figure it out kind of face that I don't know, I'm just really drawn to it. And I've always been drawn to like nautical things. I think there's something that just kind of speaks to me on like a different level about that ghost and about the imagery that surrounds him. And so interesting that Katie, the way she wrote the character, that he kind of has his own little arc that relates to our main characters. It was just really satisfying to sort of realize him in some way.
I really fell in love with him. You brought the character to life beautifully. And Justin, if I can close this off by asking one really quick but really important question.
Okay.
Ghosts are real. True or false? How do you feel?
I say true, but I hesitate to define what a ghost is too tightly. But I know from personal experience that just something else is going on that we haven't quite figured out from a scientific perspective. There's something else going on. But yeah, but part of what's so cool, what's so fascinating about that is that you can't really put it into words, and you can't define it too tightly, I don't think. But yeah, I've had some encounters, man.
Well, I genuinely think that there's something more, and I can't wait for audiences to check out the ghosts that are in your movie, because this is just the definitive version of the Haunted Mansion on screen, sir.
I appreciate that.
Justin, thank you so much for your time. This has been wonderful. I can't wait for people to see this. And overall, congratulations, and have a great one.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Professional artists and professors, maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me, the Hard Knock Life.